today's video, I'm going to be building Falcons flights in Planet Coaster 2. So yeah, about a week ago they actually finished the entire track, which is kind of insane. I remember watching the POV a long ago and thinking, this will never happen. But yeah, now I think it's not too long left until we will see an actual POV. And yeah, that's kind of why I wanted to build this thing. But yeah, before we start the actual building, I would really appreciate it if you could hit the subscribe button. Thank you. And yeah, to start off this project, I obviously started with the actual layout. And yeah, this is probably the longest I've ever spent building just a single roller coaster in Planet Coaster. I mean, only the layout in itself took about 3 hours to do. But yeah, as I was building it, I just realized how weird this layout actually is. I mean, it kind of looks like something you would create when you get bored in Planet Coaster and just want to build something crazy. But yeah, we won't know for sure how good it is until it actually opens. But yeah, the hardest part with actually building this layout was getting everything to fit, because there is, a matter of fact, a border around the map, and yeah, I wasn't really sure if this thing would actually fit inside the border, but at the end I ended up squishing in kind of the beginning part just a little bit, and then everything ended up working out pretty good, I would say. But yeah, another thing I was kind of worried about as I started building this kind of top part is that I was going to have to build a mountain in Planet Coaster 2, which I messed around a bit with the terrain tool, but I never built anything even close to the scale of this mountain. But yeah, we'll focus on the mountain later, as we're now going to build kind of the centerpiece of the entire ride, which is this massive airtime hill in the center. Oh my god, this was such a pain to build. I had to add a launch in the middle of it just so you could carry speed to the top. But yeah, I think this thing is about 170 meters, 460 foot, something like that. And this was definitely the hardest thing to build about the entire ride. But yeah, it ended up looking fine, I guess, after building it about 3 times. I think this thing is what took the longest, to be honest. But yeah, after building that massive airtime hill, the rest of the layout ended up going pretty smoothly, as it's basically long flowy turns and small stretched out airtime hills, I guess. But yeah, then it was just the final turn, kind of going into the station. And after that, it was smoothing time. But yeah, now that the layout was finally done, it was time to work on the mountain. Let's go! So yeah, even though I was pretty nervous about building this mountain, I think it turned out just fine. So yeah, I ended up using this kind of slope tool to make the actual walls, and then obviously slope it down to the bottom at the end. So I think I'm actually going to cut away basically most of the building of the mountain, because it's pretty repetitive, but it ended up taking a long time to make all the shapes right, and also I haven't really worked too much on the terrain tool. But I think it turned out pretty cool at the end and really similar to the original. But yeah, then after that I started painting in this kind of terrain to make the steeper bits a bit darker, just to make it look a bit more realistic. And after that, the mountain was basically done, so now it's time to work on the actual airtime hill and the tunnel. So after the steepest part of the drop, the roller coaster kind of goes into a tunnel, so that's what I started working on now. And I basically just built a black tube going down a certain part of the track, and I think this thing actually turned out really similar and also added a lot of realism to the build. But yeah, after that it was time to build the actual support structure for the massive airtime hill. So yeah, I obviously had a reference picture that showed kind of all the angles and how it would look, but it was still really difficult, obviously, and it didn't really end up being too symmetrical, but you don't really see it if you don't look into it too much, I think. But now I just had to finish up the surrounding area by placing kind of this highway road right here that goes around the original. Then also added this wooden coaster right here, which is also in the original. But yeah, I didn't record too much of it, but I ended up finishing the train as well by adding the Falcons head. I haven't really built too much on the trains, so this was pretty hard for me to do on a big learning curve, but it ended up looking pretty cool, as you see right here. And yeah, then also built the station, and then we were done. So yep, now we're finally done with this roller coaster after many hours of work. And now it's finally time to show the actual POV. Let's go!